Okay, thank you.
I always have to raise it up for you.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
Istungon tukaya gaga. Let's see the proper greeting, and then it's more of a way of saying, how were you through the night? For if I'm talking to more than one person. But at this time, we're going to go over the same type of subject as far as the tenses, but I'm going to use a different verb tense or different root words. And the root word that I'm going to really work with is the word called hotsejida. That means to write. Hotsejida. And so, as I've said before, when we're talking about first person, we use the letters first person as far as for me, like if I did something in the past, I would use the letters IV and KS. Now, this is in reference to like doing something yesterday. And that would be pronounced aeons. Aeons. Now, as you've noticed, the statement that I've got here is, now you can just use choga hotejeyans. Choga hotejeyans. And that can mean, that means I wrote that paper. You don't have to use the word month, but I'm just going to stick with choga hotejeyans. That means I wrote that paper. And so choga hotejeyans. Now, once again, you're going to drop that ETV off of the word hotejida, and you're going to add the letters IV and KS along with it. And it's going to become hotejeyans. Now, we must always remember in Mvskoke learning that you got to understand that you're going to drop the letters ETV off the words. And a lot of those words, you're going to put certain proper verb tenses on the end of it. Now, since we're talking about past tense, now in reference to me, like I'm saying that I wrote that paper, I would say, choga hotejeyans. I wrote that paper. Now we can use other things too, you know, other verbs as well. I might want to use guabida. That means like to lift up, like a table or something like that. And I might say, ohombida, guabeyanks, you know, like I lift up that table yesterday. Now we're going to go to second person singular past tense. Now, once again, that ETV is going to be dropped. And you always got to remember, you got to put the proper verb tense with that. Now I'm talking about you as a singular person, that you did something. Now when I put skunks on the end of hotejida, it becomes hotejid skunks. Hotejid skunks. Now I can say choga hotejid skunks. You wrote that paper. You wrote that paper. Choga hotejid skunks. You wrote that paper. Now, talking about somebody outside of you and I, and the proper tense for that, the past tense for that, is that you would put the letters V and KS, and it's pronounced unks. Unks. Remember that, it's unks. You're going to add that to hotejida by dropping the ETV, and it becomes hotejans. Hotejans. I can say choga hotejans. He, she wrote that paper. And I might want to say, I'll just say a person's name, Judy Montel. Choga hotejans. Then I'm saying Judy Montel wrote that paper. Once again, that verb tense is VNKS, and it's pronounced unks. Unks. And always remember, you're going to drop the ETV and you're going to add the proper verb tense to go along with that. Now we're going to go to the present singular tense. Like if I want to say, I am writing that paper, and if I use that word, hotejida, I got to drop the ETV and I've got to add the letters IS on there. And then that word is going to be pronounced as hotejas, hotejas, hotejas. And that's saying, then I'll say, Toga hotejas, I'm writing that paper. Soga hotejas, I'm writing that paper. Once again, this is present tense. If I'm saying I'm writing that paper, I'm going to drop the letters ETV off the word hotejida. And I'm going to add the letters IS on there. Then I'll pronounce it this way. Toga hotejas, hotejas. Now, if I want to say you are writing that paper, I'm gonna take the letters ETSKES, and I'm gonna put it in place of the letters ETV from hotejida, hotejida, and it becomes hotejitskis, hotejitskis, and then I could say Toga hotejitskis, you are writing that paper. You are writing that paper. Once again, you got to remember, the letters ETV has got to be dropped. And the letters ETSKES, indicating that you're doing something at the present time. It's got to be added in that place. Now, when it's added to hotejida, it becomes hotejitskis. Hotejitskis, that means you are writing that paper. You are writing that paper. Now, if I want to talk about somebody else that outside of you or I, and they're writing the paper, I would say, I would put the letters ES on the end of it in place of ETV in concern to the word hotejida. It would be, and then I could say Toga hotejas, Toga hotejas. He, she is writing that paper. Toga hotejas. Once again, that letter, the letters ES, but it's got a small E sound on it. Make sure you pronounce it with the small E sound on there. Because if you don't, then you're going to say something completely different. Hotejas, and it's put on the end of the word hotejida. Drop the ETV and it becomes hotejas. Toga hotejas. He, she is writing that paper. Now we're going to get into the future singular tense. If I want to say, I will write that paper, then I would say Toga hotejadis, Toga hotejadis. I'm gonna take the letters ARES and I'm gonna put them in the place of the letters ETV from hotejida, and I'm gonna say Toga hotejadis. I will write that paper. I will write that paper. Now, if I want to say you will write that paper, I would take it. I would drop the letters ETV and I would add the letters ETSKVRES. It studies. And I would add it to the word hotejida. And it becomes hotejitskadis, hotejitskadis. I could say Toga hotejitskadis. You will write that paper. You will write that paper. And this is what I'm saying. Is there any questions so far for anybody online? Any questions? Anybody? Any questions here or?
Monk.
Okay. Okay. We're going to go over a third person future tense. If I wanted to say that he or she will write that paper, I'm going to drop the letters ETV and I'm going to add the letters VRES. VRES. And then I could say, Soga, Hoche Tadis, Toga, Hoche Tadis, he will write that paper. Togo, Hoche Tadis, he or she will write that paper. And let's kind of review again. Remember the first person past tense singular for, like for me, that if I wanted to say, I wrote that paper, I could say Toga Hoche Soga Hoche. Remember, I'm dropping that ETV off of there. Not putting AUX in there. And the same for second person. If I say you wrote that paper, if I say that, then I would say Toga Hoche Skunks. Soga Hoche Skunks. You wrote that paper. I'm going to drop that ETV off of there, and you're going to put skunks in its place. And then for third person, singular past tense, you're going to drop the ETV and you're going to add the letters unks or BNKS on there. And if I want to say he, she wrote that paper, I would say Choga Hoche Junks. Choga Hoche Junks. Now for present tense, I could say Choga. If I'm saying I'm writing that paper, then I'm going to say Choga Hoche Jazz. Choga Hoche Jazz. Choga Hoche Jazz. If you are writing that paper, remember that ETV has got to be dropped. And the etskis has got to be put on the end. It's Choga Hotejiskis. Choga Hotejiskis. You are writing that paper. And third person, present tense. He, she is writing that paper. Once again, it's Choga Hotejis. Soga Hotejis. Now we're going to get into the future tenses. If I want to say, I will write that paper, if I want to say it in Mvskoke, I've got to drop the ETV off of Hotejida, and I got to add the ARES on there. And then then it's going to become Hotejadis. Hotejadis. I will say, Choga Hotejadis. I will write that paper. And if I'm going to say, you will write that paper, I'm going to drop the ETV and I'm going to add the ETSK, VRES. It's Scuddies. And it becomes that word Hotejid that becomes Hotejid Scuddies. And I'll say Choga Hotejid Scuddies. You will write that paper. You will write that paper. Now, if I'm going to say that he or she will write that paper, once again, the ETV has got to be dropped. And that VRES has got to be added. And it becomes Toga Hochechadis. Toga Hochechadis. He or she will write that paper. Now, we're going to get into plural past tense. Like if I say we wrote that paper like yesterday, you know, then I'm going to have to add the letters EV and KS toward the end of Hotejida. And that word becomes Hotejiunks. Hotejiunks. Soga Hotejiunks. We wrote that paper. We wrote that paper. Toga Hotejiunks. Now, I'm going to get in plural past tense, like when I say atskunks or ATSKVNKS, which is pronounced atskunks. Atskunks. That is talking about you as a group. And if I add it to the end of Hotsejida, dropping the ETV and adding atskunks on there, and it becomes Hotejatskunks. Hotejatskunks. And if I say Soga Hotejatskunks, you as a group have wrote that paper. Soga Hotejatskunks. You as a group have wrote that paper. You got to remember, you're going to drop the ETV off of there. And it's going to become, and you're going to add the ending atskunks on the end of it. And it becomes Hotejatskunks. You as a group. And if I say Choga Hotejatskunks, then I'm saying you as a group have wrote that paper. Now, if I'm talking about another people outside of you and I have wrote that paper, and if I say they have wrote that paper, then I'm going to say Toga Hotejagunks. Toga Hotejagunks. They have wrote that paper. You're going to add AKVNKS at the end. You're going to drop the letters ETV. Hotejida then becomes Hotejagunks. They have wrote that paper. Now, that if I want to say we are writing that paper, like in the present tense, I'm getting into the present tense right now. And if I, and you're going to drop the ETV off the end, you're going to add the letters yes, but it's going to have a long E sound in there. And it becomes Hotejes, Hotejes. And if I say Choga Hotejes, then I'm saying we are writing that paper. Choga Hotejes, we are writing that paper. If I get into second person plural tense, once again, I'm going to drop the letters ETV. I'm going to add the letters ATSKES. And that is stating that, you know, once again, it's a reference to you as a group. But this one's present tense. And if I want to say you as a group are writing that paper, I would say Choga Hojejatskis. Choga Hojejatskis. You as a group are writing that paper. Now, third person. Now this is plural. I messed up. I should have said plural instead of singular. And the third person present plural is represented as with the letters AKES, and it's pronounced August. August. And you're going to drop the letters ETV off of Hotejid. I mean, it becomes Hotsejagis. Hotsejagis. If I wanted to say they are writing that paper, I should have put the word choga in, and that's my mistake. But I would say choga. Hotsejagis. Choga. Hotsejagis. They are writing that paper. Now we get into first person plural future tense. First person plural future tense is representing to we. And if I want to say we will write that paper, I will say choga hotsejagis. Soga. Hotsejagis. That means we will write that paper. Soga. Hotsejagis. We will write that paper. If I say you as a group will write that paper, I would say, I would drop the letters once again, ETV, and I would add the letters ATSKVRS. Atskaris, Atskaris, Toga, Hotsejagis, Toga, Hotsejagis. That means you will write that paper. We get into third person plural tense. We're going to once again drop the letters ETV, and you're going to add the letters AKVRES, and it's pronounced Agadis, Agadis. And if I say Choga Hotsejagis, they will write that paper. Now here's some other verbs that there's some other verbs. I gave you the wrong one. I'm sorry. Yep. Let's go back to the beginning. I have the word gawabida. It's to rise. I mean, it actually means to lift up. To lift up. Despise that first one is to rise. It's actually the meaning of it means to lift up. And there's dumgida. We have dumgida in there. It's not your fault. I sent you the wrong one. I sent you the wrong. But dumgida. Now, if I say I lifted up that table, I would say ohombida gawabayans. Now I'm going in the first person singular tense, past tense. Gawabayans. Gawabayans. I lifted up that table. Now, for your practice, I want you guys to do it in your own spare time, if you could please, that try to find some other verb tenses and use these examples that I've showed you and try to apply it to those verb tenses and get into the practice of doing that. Once you do it so much, it'll start becoming second nature, and you'll have a good foundation in learning the language. And so then we're going to work with this other verb, dumgida. Dumgida. That means to fly. I could say, in the present tense, I might say Bethlodumga, which means airplane. Bethlodumga. Dungus. Bethel. Okay, Bethel. I stand corrected, folks. Bethel. Bethel. Bethel Dumga. Bethel Dumga.
Like with a B.
Bethel. Bethel, okay. Bethel. Dumga. Dungus. The airplane is flying. The airplane is flying. Now I'm going to ask, can anybody tell me what tense is that? When I say Bethel, Bethel, Dumga, Dungus, what tense am I saying that in? That's good. That's good. That's good. Is it third person, present tense, first person, present tense, singular tense? Anybody online? Remember, it's got that short E sound on it with the letters ES on there. So therefore, that means it's third person, present tense, singular. Because I'm talking about a singular thing. The airplane is flying. The airplane is flying. And folks, I do apologize. I sent her a rough draft of this lesson. It's got some mistakes on here, but I will put up the correct one. I'll send it. I'll put up the correct one. It's my fault. Now, we can kind of go into I might want to ask some questions. If I want to say, did you write that paper? I can say, Shoga or Chojetskanga. Choga Hojetskanga. Did you write that paper? Or if I wanted to say, did you lift up that table? I would say, Ohombida, Ohombida, Ohombida. Dawabetskanga. Did you lift up that table? And also, now if I want to ask something in the future tense, in regards to writing, if I want to say, Choga, are you going to write that paper? I could say, Choga, Oteja Hancha, Oteja Hancha. That means, are you going to write that paper? Choga, Oteja Hancha. Always remember that. And so, I'm going to put up the right lesson, and on there you're going to see it. There's going to be like a quiz on there, and I want you to be able to challenge yourself with that quiz, and put the proper ending on the proper tense that I showed up on that paper, if you're able to get into it. And right now I'm going to ask: does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? You have any questions? Well, folks, I thank you for coming in and tuning in. And I'll have another lesson tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a good day today. And we will talk again. All right. Timbonai Hahi. Mud Eagles. How do I get it?
You do stop share.
Okay.
Top.
All right.
And then in the bottom right hand corner.
Right here.
It's over.
Right.
Yeah, behind there.
I sent you the wrong one. I think I sent you my rough draft. And that's my fault.